Yo, what is going on, you guys? Bashtian here, and today, guys, coming at you with my Cosmo deck profile. Cosmo has been one of my favorite decks ever since I originally started. Actually, one of the decks that got me started as far as playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Way back in 2017, 2018. So it's been a lot of fun just being able to revisit the deck again, being able to go ahead and learn how to do the climbing again, things like that. This deck taught me chain links, everything like that. So it's a very good, really fun starter deck as well for anyone who is, well, not a starter deck, but it's a deck for starters. Anyone who's looking to learn a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, you will notice as well, I did not have an extra deck for this. I did not think one was really all that necessary. I mean, really, as long as you have Zeus, you have your Nova, Cyber Dragon Nova, Cyber Dragon Infinity, maybe Pleiades if you want, but that's really going to be it. The rest of the deck is all just going to be Extravagance or Extravagance or Prosperities Banish. So that's really what's going to be it for the actual extra decks. We're going to have to worry about it, which means less money that you actually have to spend on this deck. Now, overall, this deck is a lot of fun to play. Really cool, but I want to go ahead and get right into it, guys. So we're going to start off with the monsters. We have played 3 copies of Tin Can, 2 copies of Strawman, 1 Farm Girl, 1 Sword Troopers, 1 Wicked Witch, and 1 Cosmo Dark Lady. So, if you guys do not know the lore behind Cosmo, it's pretty much Star Wars slash Wizard of Oz. Right? Yeah. So Star Wars, Wizard of Oz combined, and it's just really cool. The artwork itself and the lore behind it is really awesome. But not only that, guys, I mean, the deck overall works really well. The one thing with this deck is that you are going to have to pay a lot of life points to activate a lot of these effects. So you do have to be careful and make sure that you're managing your life points accordingly. But overall, so how it works is you have your pilots and then you have your ships, right? So you got to make sure that you have a good ratio of both, because as most decks that run with low and high level monsters, they does have occasionally the occasional brick in your hand. So you want to make sure they have a good ratio. This has been really good. I actually wanted to play Cosmo Dark Lady at 3 because she does negate monster effects, so it's really good. But again, you don't want to break on a high level pilot, especially because they do not necessarily float when they hit the graveyard. So you want to make sure that you are, again, keeping a good balance for that. For the ships, I played 2 copies of Slip Rider, 1 Forerunner, 3 Dark Destroyers, of course, and then 1 Dark Eclipser. So Dark Eclipser negates traps, which is really nice. All Cosmo Dark Destroyer does. And first of all, it can't be targeted by effects. Neither can your Dark Eclipser, which is nice. With Dark Destroyer, whenever it's special summon, you get to pop a monster your opponent controls. And if any of these ships are destroyed by battle or card effects into the graveyard, you can banish them from the graveyard to special summon a Cosmo monster with a level less or lower than the destroyed ship. So it's really nice to have. So you have level 9, level 8, level 7, level 5. Level 5. With this well, Forerunner is cool to gain a little bit more life points, and Slip Rider, when it's special summon, you get to pop a spell trap. So all really versatile as far as what the effects do. You can really just search whichever one you need for this specific scenario. There are other Cosmo ships. The most powerful one probably being Cosmo Dark Planet, but the issue with that is that it just doesn't work. It doesn't really synergize with the rest of the deck. Unfortunately, but that one is really good. I believe it's 4,000 attack if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to try that, check that out. Definitely, I would recommend at least reading the card. But again, not really necessary. It's probably going to be the best Cosmo cards in the game. So that's going to be it for the monster lineup, guys. We have our monsters. I mean, our pilots and our ships. Oh, one last monster we do play is play 3 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This is turned more into a trap-based deck in recent times, and this is absolutely, first of all, look at this artwork, it's absolutely beautiful with the rarity. Side note, Lord of Heavenly Prisons is actually really crazy, letting you search out pretty much whatever spell trap you want from your deck, setting it to the field. Plus, it is a free 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense beat stick monster. So, I mean, why not have just the biggest monsters possible in a deck that doesn't really use the extra deck as well? 3 Lord of Heavenly Prisons, 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prison doesn't only just help with the consistency of the deck as far as being able to search and pretty much set whatever spell trap you want. It also gives you immediate access to a big beater on board, so it's really good. And that is going to be it for the monsters, guys. Now on to the spells. So starting with the spells. We got 2 copies of Cosmo Town, really good card. Pretty much lets you mulligan your Cosmo cards in your hand so that you can unbrick your hand. This is something that is pretty much the only deck that has this that I can think off the top of my head. So really, thank you to Konami for making Cosmos probably the most consistent deck with this card. So really good as well. Also adds recursion for any of your banished Cosmo cards at, again, cost of life points. Next, for consistency, we do play 3 copies of the Pot of Extravagance. Prosperity is not really necessary. Essentially, the more cards you are able to see in your hand, the better, because each and every single card in this deck has a main utility, and it has a main purpose, and each card in this deck is an absolute blowout by itself. So the more cards you see, the better. We're not looking for one specific one like in most other decks. And the last spell that we play 3 copies of Emergency Teleport. So you will have noticed that for the monsters, guys, we have Psychic type, Psychic type, Psychic type, and they're all level 3 or lower Psychic, so they're all really good to go ahead and special summon. The only one that's not a level 3 or lower stops at Wicked Witch, but you're really not going to be summoning her off too often. Well, you can't off of Emergency Teleport. So that is really good to have, again, increasing the consistency of the deck as well. That's going to be it for the spells. Now on to the fun part, which is going to be the trap cards, guys. So for the traps, I played 2 copies of Cosmojo. Cosmojo, it's a phenomenal card. So basically it allows you to target a Cosmo monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, banish any card your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Really good card. So you might be asking Sebastian why you're not playing this at 3. Because at the end of the day, it is a trap card. So, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, we don't like to play the slowest cards, but we do play 3 back to the front. Now, you just said we don't like to play slow cards. We're playing back to the front. Sebastian, what are you doing? Well, the thing with back to the front is that with Cosmos, you're going to be sending a lot of cards to the graveyard as well, especially with Cosmo Tin Can's effect, which pretty much allows you to search any 3 Cosmo cards with different names. And then your opponent picks one at random to add to your hand. The other 2 get sent to the grave. So primarily what you're trying to do with that is you're trying to fill your graveyard with big ships as well. Activate back to the front, bring it back, and then you go ahead and take off from there. Also, if your Dark Destroyer gets destroyed, you don't have to activate the effect. You can just activate back to the front, target it, special summon it again, and then you can go ahead and pop something else. We're not done with the traps just yet, so go ahead and leave this out here. Other traps we played 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. My apologies for the mixed rarity. I am trying to pick up my 3rd secret rare copy. These are absolutely beautiful. I just want to go ahead and say these are gorgeous. But Torrential Tribute is probably the best card in Cosmo, just because you are able to just redo your board. Essentially, you're going to be 1 or 2 monsters, which is extremely easy to just go ahead and bring back. Also, with Farm Girl, it does allow you to immediately OTK, so why not just blow up the entire board? Restart, because Cosmo is probably one of the better decks out there as far as restarting and fresh and rebuilding your entire board, because it's not very hard to go ahead and do so. You don't have to activate many effects in the event that your opponent has, I don't know, that Tax Dragon, whatever it's called, Masquerade for Branded. You activate 1 or 2 effects and you're good to go. You're zooming and booming, baby. So anyway, that's going to be for the Torrentials. I played 2 copies of Trap Trick as well. All these are normal traps, and you need to search them to have the increased consistency for the deck as well. So being able to search out a Torrential Tribute back to the front or Cosmojo is going to be really essential in your strategy. So I would highly recommend playing at least 2 Trap Trick. And then that is 35 cards. Now for the last 6 cards, so pretty sure it's a 41 card deck. We played 3 copies of Skill Drain and 3 copies of There Can Be Only One. So with There Can Be Only One, it's really effective, but you need to be careful with this card because essentially you cannot float down into you cannot have multiple monsters on board with this, so it does limit your play a little bit. So you can't OTK things like that because you can't go Psychic into Psychic, machine to machine, essentially like that. So that is something to keep in mind with this, but There Can Be Only One is so effective in against so many decks out there that, this is definitely worth playing. So It also hurts a lot of the top meta decks out there, and of course, Skill Drain is just a blowout card, especially in this upcoming format with Kashtira. Kashtira has absolutely nothing against Skill Drain, so really good card, really good to be able to go ahead and maximize the effect on it, and it doesn't really affect your on-field effects for the Cosmos, because pretty much the only important effects are going to be activated in your banish pile and the graveyard, so Skill Drain is actually just another plus for the deck. But like I said, the deck does cost a lot of life points in order to go ahead and activate their effects, so be careful using this card because you have to pay, of course, 1,000 life points, yada, things like that. You guys know what Skill Drain does. But that's going to be it for the Cosmo deck profile for January 2023. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I've been testing this a little bit, and honestly, it's a lot of fun to go ahead and play a deck that pretty much hasn't seen any support or viability, really, in over a year or two since Dark Destroyer came back to 3. But honestly, love this deck. If you're new in the game, I would highly recommend to pick up the Cosmo cards. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, if you're a Star Wars fan, Wizard of Oz fan, 10 out of 10 recommend this deck. It's not overly expensive, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's very simple to learn as well. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.